Hi, today we're going to be taking a look at the DNA 5050 professional camera stabilizer from Glide Gear. This is a handheld stabilizer made for your DSLR or your video camera as long as it weighs in between 2 to 7 pounds. Now, it's designed to keep your camera free from handshake and vibrations while also keeping it stable and balanced for a smooth floating camera appearance in your video. Now I'm going to show you exactly what comes with this package, how to put it together, and even how to balance it. So let's take a look here. The first thing you're going to notice when you get your Glide Gear DNA 5050 is that it comes in this really great padded case. It fits everything perfectly and it's nice and compact. They even give you a shoulder strap for carrying it around. So in the case you're going to have your instruction manual. You're going to have your camera base plate. You'll have your center column with 3-axis gimbal and foam padded handle attached. You have your weight platform with the weights attached. And then you're also going to have a bag of miscellaneous hardware for attaching your camera to the camera platform. So let's take it out of here and put it together. So for assembling your Glide Gear DNA 5050, you'll see that it comes in 3 main components, and those main components are really already assembled for you. Really, it's just a matter of attaching those 3 components together, and you really don't need any tools to do so. So first, you're going to grab your camera platform and your center column and attach those together by just threading them into one another. And then just snug it down. Next, take the center post out of the bottom and connect it to your weight platform, just like that. All right. Next, you're going to want to put the weight center column connected to the camera center column, and you've assembled it. Next, we're going to mount the camera to the system and start the balancing process. So here I've got a camera with a 17 to 40 millimeter lens. It's good that you have a wider lens for the use of this type of stabilization product. Your results will be much, much better. You're going to take off the camera platform, and there's 4 screws on either side here that remove that. And then you're going to take the screw with a washer on it, and you're going to attach the camera to the bottom. Just like that. So what you'll want to do when you mount your camera is to make sure that you have a general balance on the plate. So you want to make sure that everything has a nice balance to it, because when it comes to balancing, you don't want something that's really front heavy or really back heavy. So we're going to try this mounting position here. And then we just connect this back onto our rig. And this is where I find it's good to have a light stand to help you balance it, because you really don't want to be holding this while you're making adjustments. One thing to keep in mind about this style of stabilization rig is that it's not something you're going to pull out of the box and start making shots in the next 5 minutes. It's really going to take some time to get a proper balance on your camera system. And also, you're going to want to practice your movements, directing and moving the camera as you're carrying it to get a good shot. So with a little bit of practice and some patience through balancing, you're going to be able to achieve those shots in no time flat. Now, before you start balancing the camera, you're going to want to make sure that everything is installed. That means your batteries, your memory cards, any filters, or even hoods. So by adding those things at the end after the balance, you're going to throw everything off. So it's really important that everything is installed before you start balancing. Now, when I start balancing a rig like this, I usually start at the bottom by adding weights. Now, I add weights 1 pair at a time one on the front, one on the back, until I achieve a balance that is close to a 2 to 3 second drop. Now, what I mean by that 2 to 3 second drop is taking the camera in a horizontal position and dropping it. It should take about 2 to 3 seconds for it to go from horizontal to vertical. So once I've added enough weights to come close to that 2 to 3 second drop, I then adjust the center column up and down. And when I adjust it down, I can speed up the drop time. When I adjust the weights up, I slow down the drop time. So once you find a good drop time, usually between 2 to 3 seconds, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, I'm right about 2 seconds. The next thing I like to do is make sure that the top of the rig is balanced. There is 2 controls for adjusting the top of the rig. The first control is in the back. This screw, when you turn it left and right, will move the camera forward or backwards, so that if it's leaning one way, you'll be able to adjust it until it leans straight up. Same thing with this side adjustment. This moves the camera rig left to right. Now, you also have these other screws. You have 4 on the bottom, and you have 4 more at the top of the rig. Now, these screws are actually your locks. Once you've achieved the forward and the side-to-side adjustments, you can lock that position in with those locking screws. Now, you can utilize a level on the top of the camera, or a lot of new digital cameras have a built-in electronic level to help you find where the camera is level, left to right and front to back. So the process of balancing does take some time, but it's most important that you have the proper balance before you start going out and shooting. So once it's properly balanced, you're going to go out there and try out the camera technique. You're going to be holding it with one hand, and I usually will hold it with my other, and all I'm doing is just lightly touching the camera itself so I can roll it left to right, because I want to be able to direct the camera. And then if I need to pitch the camera up or down, I just tilt my fingers back and forth. But you're going to want to get out there and really practice to get a feel for how this thing works. Like I said, it's not something that you can pull out of the box and do right away, but with a little practice, you'll get those really great shots. So that concludes our look at the DNA 5050 from Glide Gear. And as always, thanks for watching.